Hello everybody and welcome to Katharine's Creatures. This is episode 46 and this is a series in which we get to kind of touch base and discuss various mythological beast beings and the like pulled from lore worldwide. And this week I'm going to jump over to some Aboriginal mythology and we're going to talk about the Bunyip. And the Bunyip is a creature, I guess in particular southeastern area of Australia. And it's kind of thought of as an aquatic creature, usually living in and around swamps, billabongs, creeks, riverbeds, watering holes, and stuff like that. In the Wibell language, the name Bunyip translates loosely to devil or an evil spirit, but it is a relatively newer creature in the sense that the name was coined in the Sydney Gazette in 1812 by an article written by James Ives. And in that article, James describes a large black animal like a seal with a terrible voice that creates terror, and he kind of goes on from there. Now, most of the times the Bunyip is kind of, well, it ranges between being perceived as kind of an amphibious creature in the sense that it could walk on land as well as water, or, you know, moving all the way to being entirely aquatic itself. Again, going back to that water spirit entity. In the let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do this correct. In the Australasian newspaper? Boy, I'm messing that one up. In 1851, there was an article about bunyips causing human deaths. And by 1890s, the bunyip started being described with having a snout like a owl in shape. So I would almost think when you say snout like an owl, that means almost had a beak. And people thought of it as potentially being nocturnal. Since 1812, there have been a number of eyewitness sightings. Most of them have been disproven as being dogs swimming or actually seals or things like that in the waters, but there have been a few cases where no one can identify the what or the why, or what potentially creature the eyewitness person did see. So interesting stuff. But again, it kind of is usually a hybridized seal dog creature. They have over time kind of almost developed, I would say, more or less two subgroups or subspecies, if you want to go that far. One of which is described again as the seal dog, that's about 4 to 6 feet long, has shaggy brown or black fur, a head kind of squared off like a bulldog, prominent ears, no tail, and whiskers, think of like a seal or an otter on the face. The other variety that crops up a lot is more of a long-necked variety, and that one size is also larger. It ranges from 5 to 15 feet, having potentially small tusks, has been described as having a head more like a horse and actually a tail like a horse, though sometimes its head has been described as more emu in shape. And regardless of which form it takes, the Aboriginal people believe that they swim with some kind of fins or flippers in the water. They are noted to have these large roaring calls when they're vocalizing. They are perceived to eat predominantly crayfish, so, you know, not terrifying, though there are, again, the stories where they do go all the way up to be flesh man-eaters, in a sense. And kind of like the duck-billed platypus from Australia, they are perceived to lay eggs and care for them that way. But that's the Bunyip. It is, again, one of these newer creatures that have arose in Australia area for the Aboriginal people. If I'm getting tongue-tied right now. If you have any questions about this or anything else, post them in the comments below or message me on social media. And until next time, Skull.